welcome to this episode of Bidii Yangu. You cannot find this piece anywhere in supermarkets or in shop. This is what Mary Domingo does every morning when she wakes up.
Hello everyone, my name's Mary Domingo, Mrs. I am married with 3 sons and I am a pastor, a ministry founder, Tangible Grace Ministries, and above all that, I'm very creative. I'm a creative artist. And as you can see, there's a lot of stuff that these hands do, and I thank God for the talents and the gifts that He has given unto me.
What is the manifestation of this creativity?
I am a crafter, and as you can see, this company is called Crafterina, meaning I make crafts, and most of the crafts that I make are from your junk. Like you throw away bottles, I take them, I recycle them, I make a bag out of them. I actually make stuff from anything, paper, fabric, bottles, anything. And most of these pieces can be used as centerpieces on a table, on a dining table, or in a wedding, or at the windowsill in your kitchen or your bathroom. It just spruces up the place, the room, and it makes it look beautiful without having to see it in every other house. It is not stuff you walk into a supermarket and buy. You can only get it from me through Crafterina Company. Just to speak briefly on Crafterina, this is one of the things that I make. I just collect bottles from bars. There are some people who keep them for me. I have hundreds of them just stuck somewhere. And I normally take them, I wash them, and I recycle them. This particular one I have sold and sold and sold. I normally just come up with concepts that pop in my head. This is a fabric I've put inside. I sprayed the bottle and left this part open. I decorated it with some sequins, and this was one of my headbands, head clip. So I thought it would look better on a bottle than on my hair. So I decided to put it there. And this makes a very beautiful piece for your windowsill in the kitchen, in your bedroom, as a centerpiece in weddings. And I always say money is everywhere if you know how to look for it. This is what we call self-employment. If you don't want to be employed, create a job for yourself.
On top of all that, she's also an author.
This is the story of my life. This is my personal published biography. God sent people, actually 10 people in number, to tell me that my life needed to be read in a book. There was nothing good to talk about my life, but the Lord saw it fit for people to read my life, and indeed it has been a great blessing to people. It's got my ups and my downs, my lowest places, my valleys, poverty and all that. This book is an encouragement even to me. I keep reading it over and over. At times I find myself laughing, at times I find myself crying. It is the story of my life.
Mary works on 2 creative fronts. One is the Crafterina. The other creative front is Skinners, a line of beauty soaps and lotions. The face is probably the first thing that people notice about you, so it's better to make a very good impression.
And I also have what I call handmade natural soaps. These soaps have a little bit of a history, because I did not just wake up one day and decided to start making soaps. What happened is, and this is why I always say, in every situation that you're going through, look for the voice of reason. Look for the voice of God in that situation. It could be a very sticky one, but it could be God saying something or trying to jack you up to see the things that He has put in you. Like for the soaps, back in June, I got a really bad breakout on my face. Terrible acne. All my life, I have never had a day that I've ever had acne. But this time, it was kind of demonic, if I would say, but I know it wasn't. I just got very, very terrible outbreak. I would wash my face and I would bleed. I had cystic acne, the works. I went to the hospitals. I was given drugs and creams and soaps. I spent a lot of money, but they never worked. Then when I went back to the doctor for a consultation and probably a change of the drugs, as I was leaving the office, the doctor's clinic, I thought, no, there must be another way of treating these things. This is not normal. That is when I started doing researches on things like paprika, turmeric, oatmeal, honey, activated charcoal. I wanted to know how do these things, how would they behave if applied on the skin? Because these are natural things. These are things that grow. Like the charcoal, it comes from wood somewhere. We have the herbs. And I always say anything that can go into your stomach is also good for your skin. That is how I came up with these soaps. And the first batches that I made after so many mistakes, because making soap is not as simple as you would think. And especially when you're making quality soap, it is not that simple. I made a lot of mistakes. I had a lot of waste, but eventually I mastered the act. That is how I started making the soaps. And the first batches I made for myself, and I used them. And guess what? They worked. The pimples dried up. I stopped getting new breakouts. The dark spots started clearing. And here I am. That is how my soaps, going by the brand name Skin Nurse. They literally nurse your skin. That is how that was born.
How did she get into what she's doing now for a living?
Since the time I was born many, many years ago, believe me, there are many, I have always been a very creative person. My mom can attest to this. I'm the kind of person who gets bored with monotony. Like, for example, in a house, seats that have been arranged the same manner for 1 year is very boring for me. So I will do something about it. And this started when I was a very young girl. I would do stuff at home. I've gone even to the extent of painting my mother's house. She left in the morning, it was cream. She came back, it was white. I literally painted the house. Why? I was bored. I wanted something different to look at, something more beautiful. And so the creativity, what I'm trying to say, it started from a very tender age. I would make things. I would make clothes for myself. I would stitch my own shoes. Probably I have a flower somewhere and I just stitch it on my shoe to make it look nice. Those kind of small, small things. And with time, it went growing. It went growing.
There is an underrated importance of somebody connecting to the work that they are doing. How is this connection for her?
Personally, I'm not a behind-the-desk computer person. Don't get me wrong, I'm very computer literate. I have a computer that I use for my things to keep my records and all that. But I'm not an 8 to 5 person. I'm not the kind of person you put behind a desk. That is why I quit my job. And it was a very good paying job in a very good place, but it was just not me. I felt wasted. I like working with my hands. I like thinking, thinking and put whatever I'm thinking into action. I like seeing things that I've created. That fulfills me, not working with papers behind desks and all that. That is why if you see throughout my life, I have collected a lot of stuff that I have worked on myself. I have stitched, I have created, I have done all manner of things. I have painted. That is why you see this room is full of crafting stuff. It's full of ribbons, full of tinsels, full of, I have bottle cutters, I have hot glue guns, there's a blender for this room. All those are my tools for my trade. And it pays me very, very well and also makes me fulfilled, and I'm able to manage my own time.
We find out what she enjoys most about her work.
There's something that is very unique about my job. I call it my job because this is what gives me money. It is very unique because that is the time I hear from God. When I'm crafting or when I'm doing my soaps, I do not play any music and I do not like people hanging around my area. The time I'm very deeply engrossed in probably making recipes for my soaps or trying to create something in my head so that I can probably craft it, I tend to hear things from God that time. I've heard him many times. He even gives me ideas. So for those people who think that God does not exist, or he's not there, or he doesn't talk, believe me, he does. Some of these ideas, especially for the soaps, I have seen myself while I'm asleep. I see myself making the soap, and I see each and every ingredient I use. You cannot tell me that is from my head, because some of the ingredients that come, they are not things I would ordinarily think of, but they just come. And in the morning, the first thing I do is I go and create that soap. And before I sell them, I use them myself. My family, they use my soaps. We don't buy any other soaps in this house, and we do not buy lotions either, because now I'm making lotion. I have a lotion called Velvet Turmeric Cream, which is very, very, very good. All natural, no harsh chemicals, no side effects, just what your skin needs.
For a job such as this that has divine assistance, are there challenges?
Okay, the only challenge I would say I face here, and it's a self-made challenge, is that once I start crafting, or once I start making my soaps or coming up with recipes, I kind of get lost in my thing, so that time can really pass and I don't even notice. At times I stay in this room up to 3 in the morning. So by the time I'm looking at my watch, or probably my husband comes knocking, that is when I realize, oh, it's late. I need to go and sleep, or I need to do something else. That is the only challenge I would say I face, because when it comes to time management, when I'm doing what I love doing, time just ceases to exist.
A great deal of business success lies in the ability to read the market. How has she seen the market change in relation to her products?
Since I started the crafting, this was around 2015. And for the soaps, I started 2018. It's not long. And I would say the Lord's hand has literally been upon everything I touch. They sell so much. God is giving me customers who buy in bulk. I have outlets in Eldoret. I have outlets in Nairobi. I have outlets in Kitale. And the more I continue, the more people are beginning to know about it and also embracing natural products. My soaps do not contain any chemicals. They have 0 harsh chemical. The only chemical this is a turmeric bar. The only chemical that is in this is the chemical that we use that turns soap and oils. No, that turns water and oil into soap. That is called lye. And the moment you have mixed up the mixture and you reach a trace and you set them aside now to cure, the lye goes. The only work the lye is for is to change the water and the oils into soap. It's called saponification process. So once they start curing, it takes about 4 to 5 weeks for the soap to be ready for use. Probably your production of oil is too much, or probably a product you use, or just adolescence. Any of those things can create pimples. This is very, very good. This is what worked for me. And those of you who are my friends on Facebook, when I started, I did post photos of how my skin was, and you can attest it was terrible. This is what helped me.
I do hope you're learning something. Do not touch that dial. We'll be right back.